have a slow morning.
Oh, are you a matcha person?
Yeah, but I like make my matcha.
That's so like holy. I feel like people that drink matcha are on such another level than us little gremlins like sipping coffee every morning.
I love coffee, but it fucks up my stomach.
Oh, it does?
Yeah,
oh,
I got
man.
IBS.
See, that's why I drink it. I'm like, just blow it out.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing, please. I don't want anything from yesterday in there.
My stomach will be like, I love coffee and I'll drink it sometimes, but it'll like fuck me up.
Welcome back to another episode of My Body, My Jokes. This is Morgan Gallo. You know who I am. Who cares about me? We're at Dude IDK Studios in Denver, Colorado. We love this place. We're having a great time. And I am genuinely so thrilled to have this guest today because I've been following her for so long. I'm a little starstruck. I met her on Zoom yesterday, but this is our first IRL meeting. Please welcome size inclusive stylist, confidence coach, and overall magnificent human being, Julia Parzyck. Hi.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Good. Have you done a lot of podcasts before?
I have. I love doing podcasts.
Hell yeah.
I used to have a podcast, but I couldn't keep up with it.
Oh my God. If I had a nickel for every time I talked to someone about a podcast and they're like, yeah, I did 3 episodes and I was done. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I did one and we maybe had 8 episodes and we loved it, but we were like, we're tired.
Yeah, and were you doing your own like editing and it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. I used to have a podcast before this a year ago that was like very comedy focused.
Okay.
And I had to book comedians every week. And the booking alone is
exhausting.
Like too much.
Yeah. And I love being on podcasts though, but I don't really do like IRL ones. So I love this.
I know the Zoom ones are usually what's happening because no one lives in the same place.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you do.
So obviously I got to know you a little bit yesterday, but go ahead and tell the people, the followers, the masses who you are.
Okay.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
So like you said, I'm a size inclusive wardrobe stylist and confidence coach, but obviously that took me like a really long time to get there. I started my own business back in 2019 as an eating disorder recovery coach because being in the eating disorder recovery world was something that I really wanted to be a part of because I went through my own recovery. I had an eating disorder for 10 years. And when I recovered, I was like, I want to turn my like pain into my purpose and help other women get to a place of feeling comfortable and confident in their bodies. So I became an eating disorder recovery coach and started working with clients that way and doing brand partnerships and stuff like that. And now my business has kind of moved into more of like the confidence and body image space. But yeah, I'm super grateful to like be where I'm at and be able to like do something that I'm genuinely like passionate about. So
of course, it's so much more fulfilling when you have also been through that experience and now you're like, hey, here's what I'm going to bestow upon you. Here's what I went through. And you've had quite the journey to get there because I remember even yesterday when we were talking, you were kind of touching on like how you were under someone else's curriculum for the recovery coaching and how now you've kind of shaped it into this more like personalized thing. And today while we're recording, this will obviously come out in a while, but like today you're launching your confidence coaching. So tell me a little bit like what does that look like? Because for some people, they might just be like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, no, and honestly, like the coaching field gets a lot of shit, and I think it's really valid because I think there's a lot of really unethical, like shady coaches, especially in the Instagram space.
Yeah.
So I get that like people don't really like, online life coaches and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, life coach is the big term.
But yeah, so I will work with my clients for a 3-month like period, and I'll be doing bi-weekly calls with them, and I have a framework of talking about like what body image is, where did our body image come from, kind of unpacking how we got to where we are in terms of not liking our body, not feeling confident, and then giving them tangible ways to work through that and kind of process things like, hey, I hate getting my picture taken, or hey, I have a breakdown every time I am going out with girlfriends, or, you know, when it's summer, like I feel super anxious and overwhelmed because I don't like the way my body looks. So like working with them, I do breath work and stuff like that too.
Ooh,
so like giving
them
self-regulation techniques, and also setting them up for the future to feel confident in knowing, hey, when my body image stuff does arise, I'm able to work through those feelings in a way that it doesn't derail my entire week or month or whatever. So I work with them in a 3-month container, just because if you're working with them for a month, it's like you're barely scratching the surface, just because it's something we've had to deal with for a long time, especially if it's from childhood. So I'm really excited to work with my clients.
That's so cool. Yeah. So when you were doing eating disorder recovery coaching, I know there's also a lot of kind of stigma around that, because from my experience, I have also fell into that trap of signing up for a coach and they're not like, you know, obviously they're not certified. They're not like in a position where
it's so unethical.
They're giving, they can give the advice as far as like their experience, but they don't have the medical background to understand. It's not therapy. Yeah. So how do you navigate that? How do you navigate like not being someone's therapist, but being like a helping hand?
Yeah. And so when my clients work with me, they always sign a scope of care agreement stating that this is not therapy. I'm not here to give mental health advice. I'm here. Coaching is more of a here and now, like actionable items for them to work on, whereas therapy is like more unpacking past traumas and working through those things. So when I was doing eating disorder recovery coaching, I obviously stayed within my scope of care and making sure that I'm not performing therapy, because I'm not a therapist. And I worked with registered dietitian, doctors, and therapists of making sure that we were providing like supportive care for my clients. And so when my clients say there's something that comes up where it is out of my scope of care and it is not ethical for me to engage in conversation around that, I say like, hey, that's a great conversation to have with your therapist. If you ever want me to talk with your therapist or help you find a therapist, I'm more than happy to do that. But we need to stay on track with like what coaching really is. And I think that's where coaching gets a bad rap, is because there are a lot of really unethical coaches that are performing what they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. I had this experience where, it must have been like 3 or 4 years ago when I was living in Florida, and there was a girl who was very nice, very well-intentioned, but she had like an eating disorder recovery coaching program that was kind of like it was more of like weekly Zoom meetings with a bunch of other women that clearly have eating disorders, and we just like talk about it. But there was no like, hey, here's something to complete. Here's something to.
It wasn't actionable. There wasn't like accountability for like, how am I going to work through that stuff? And I've done group coaching before, and that can definitely be hard because everybody has their own experiences, and you obviously don't want other people to get triggered by other people's experiences.
Oh, for sure.
And so, if you're doing group coaching, you have to make sure, like when I did, make sure like these are the boundaries of what we can talk about. Like we're not talking about specific weight numbers. We're not talking about exactly what we're eating. We're not talking about specific eating disorder behaviors like binging and purging.
Right.
We're talking about like how we feel about things and our struggles, but we're not going to purposely like talk about the ins and outs of our own eating disorder.
Absolutely.
And that's really hard. Like group coaching is really hard.
Yeah. And especially when you're just with a lot of strangers.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get a coach and to meet them and get to know them and warm up to them, but it's like a total other game to go into a Zoom meeting with 20 other young women. Yeah. And you're like, well, I guess I'm just going to divulge all of my issues in this call. But that is so cool that you're doing that. And I think it's really fun to watch you kind of like develop this, because like I said, I've been following you for a while. I had no idea you lived in Denver. I think I probably Googled looked on Instagram like body positive women or something, and you came up. And so it's been really cool to see your content grow from like year over year into now, like you have this business, like you're styling people. Obviously you have amazing fashion sense. So part of me is like, you want to come over sometime? You know?
Yeah.
But I always like to ask people this on my podcast. Obviously, it's called My Body, My Jokes. I talk a lot about my experience with my body, the shit I deal with online. So what is your current relationship to your body?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly where I'm at with my body right now, it's probably the best relationship I've ever had.
Fabulous.
I feel like the farther I get into my recovery, the better it gets. And that doesn't mean that I don't have like bad body image days or like have my own insecurities. But I feel like right now I'm very much at a place of like body acceptance and body neutrality, of knowing that like my body is meant to change, ebb and flow as I get older. Like my body is very different than it was in my 20s. And being in my 30s, that's something I've had to navigate, is like your weight sits differently, or like, oh, my skin's a little bit
your
looser.
hormones change, your
like,
lifestyle changes.
Exactly.
Everything changes.
And so I think I'm at a place of acceptance, of knowing, hey, like my body's going to continue to change and I'm okay with that. And I feel like I have the tools that if those feelings arise where I'm not feeling great in my body anymore, like I'm able to combat that and get back to a place of feeling confident in myself.
Mm-hmm. And that's so reassuring as someone who's currently going through recovery to hear. I'm like 9 months in. Yay, and I'm like, congrats. When am I going to get to that spot? You know what I mean?
It's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah. And I think it was my nutritionist who said to me, she was like, I think I was explaining to her, like, I feel better about my eating. I feel like I'm getting the hang of, you know, the meal plan, the schedule, whatever. And I'm like, but I just can't get over the body stuff. And
that
she's
was
like,
the last thing for me.
That's exactly what she said. She goes, Morgan, I'm going to be real with you.
It's the last
The body
piece.
image is the last thing to go.
Yep.
Like, so it takes people years to get to a point where they've been eating normally enough, not having behaviors, developing different relationships with food, movement, whatever. That's the last thing to leave the station.
It truly, like food was the first thing that I tackled, and then my relationship with movement. And then body image was kind of like the last piece for me. And like my body changed a lot through recovery. Like it went up and down. And I feel like once I finally got to like my set point weight of just where my body naturally sits, it was like, okay, now I can like work on my body image. And I'm like 10 years into recovery. So like,
it's crazy.
And that's the thing, is like the bell curve for recovery is like 7 to 10 years, is like when you're past like that 7 to 10 years, it's like recovery is like you really got a good grasp.
Yeah,
and
it's like old hat.
Yeah.
So how did you like navigate going through recovery? Were you also kind of posting online while you were going through recovery? Did you talk about it a lot?
Yes, and that's kind of why I gained a following, because
cool.
I think I had mentioned to you that like before it was like a bunch of diet content. I was like a beach body coach. I was like, you know, your stereotypical MLM health coach that was like, who wants to go on like a
hey
cleanse
guys, I have
with me?
these juices for sale.
Literally like going on stupid cleanses. So I had a big like diet community. I was like part of Beachbody. And when I started to go through recovery, a lot of my content started to shift. And for me, posting was actually a way for me to hold myself accountable in my recovery. Because if I'm going to talk about it, then I have to do it.
Yep.
And it was hard because I was like, ooh, I have to be really like grounded in my decision to do recovery. I was also living in LA at the time, which was like the mecca of body image issues, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to be really like grounded in my decision to continue with recovery, because I'm really putting myself out there to like open myself up to a lot of like ridicule.
Yeah, that's exactly the journey that I'm on right now. It's funny because part of me is like, oh my God, am I going to grow up to be Julia? Like, this is amazing. Like,
no, you're going to grow up to be like dope ass Morgan.
It's so interesting because when I thought of recovery, going into recovery, I was like, I needed it. I was so excited that I was just like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And then as I continued to do it and as I continued to talk about my body on stage, I was like, maybe I should like talk about this online, because when I was growing up and when you were growing up, there weren't like body positive people in the world. Like
literally awful.
Yeah,
like
being
awful
a
content.
Curve model meant that you were a size medium.
Yeah,
like it was
literally.
not at all like it is
6.
now. Yeah, and so I followed a lot of women like you and like curve models, and I remember thinking to myself like, God, if I was 15 now things would be so different.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to be a part of that community of women that shows younger women like, hey, I know you're going through a lot of this shit right now, but just so you know, like, it's going to be okay.
Honestly, that was like one of the biggest driving factors as to like my platform and like what I do. Cause I was like, I would have loved to meet when I was like 13.
Yeah.
Like I want to be what I needed to see when I was 13 years old, because it would have changed everything for me.
And there are so many women that do that. I feel like now there's so many women that, whether it's body image or it's like talking about their career or where going into male dominated spaces, it's like we're all so
we're
traumatized.
all trying to heal our like inner little child.
That's why we're making fucking friendship bracelets all the time.
Yeah. I'm like over here doing crafts and like embroidery. Yeah. I'm just like all inner child all the time.
Yeah. It's either inner child or straight up grandma activities.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm here for both of them. So I did want to talk to you about kind of the social media experience. And we talked a little before the episode. So I'm excited to get into this because as you know, and as many people that listen to this know, I am a comedian online. I post a lot of my comedy. I've gained a very large male following. So my experience online is very specific to that. But what is the experience of a woman who is supported by so many women, and you're posting this really positive content? Like, just give me like a little seedling to take home.
I mean, it's nice, but I'm gonna be real with you. Like, it's not all like butterfly. Like you still get shit all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the internet.
But I will say, because I was telling you, I have like 89% women that are following me, and it's just so nice because I'm like, oh, we got like a little pod of just like really like women that are just all about empowering women of different shapes, sizes, and bodies. And it's just, it's just like the ultimate like girl gang.
That's exactly the energy. Is it's like the women are there to see you. They're not there to, hopefully most of the time, like tear you down. Or be like, actually that's not what I think of myself.
Yes.
But have you experienced anything where maybe even when you first started posting, where maybe some women were like, I don't know if this is a good message, especially when you were switching over from being more diet focused to like body positive?
I think what happened is because I had a lot of people that were following me from like the diet and fitness industry, I think there was probably a lot of them feeling triggered about like maybe, you know, when you see something online and you're like, oh, that triggers me, most of the time it's like a mirror to like some of your own shit and your own issues.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm sure there were some people that are like, ooh, I feel like you're kind of calling me out about my like own unhealthy behaviors. And there would be a lot of women of like, oh, well, it's not bad to like be on a diet, or it's not bad, like, you know, like that type of stuff. And I'm like, girlfriend, I'm counting like 9 almonds to eat for my snack. Like this isn't, this is my experience.
Oh my God.
And so there was definitely some of that. Or I had, you know, obviously mostly men being like, it's not healthy to be fat and, well, you know, that type of bullshit. But yeah, I mean, I just talked about it in therapy, how annoyed I was.
Yeah. And that's all you can do because the internet is always going to have something to say.
Oh, like literally you could say anything and someone's like, I disagree, you're wrong. And it's like, okay.
Like I don't do this anymore because I just can't, but I used to love looking at other people's comment sections, especially on TikTok. And it'd be like a woman walking her dog with a harness.
And the dog's like dog abuse.
And the dog's like, I'm fucking stoked to be outside. And everyone's like, actually this is really bad. My dog's skin fell off because of this.
Literally.
And it's like, I think she knows what her dog needs.
The unsolicited opinions, advice, thoughts. I'm like, we don't need to share everything that's in our mind all the time.
And now that you're kind of moving into confidence coaching, like, have you had any weird interactions with that? Has it been met with positivity? I can imagine it's probably like mostly positive.
Yeah, it's honestly been really positive. I've had a lot of people, because I took a pause from the coaching space. I was doing group coaching for a minute. But I've had a lot of people like, when are you bringing back like one-on-one coaching? Cool. And the thing is unfortunately, like body image issues and insecurities aren't going to go away. So it's always going to be something that's needed, like confidence coaching and body image coaching. So yeah, I'm really hoping that people are meeting it with like excitement and they're interested. So we'll see.
Yeah. It is a very triggering topic, like even the term body positivity, the more I read about it, and I have a Google alert set up for body positivity, which is like really bad because I get like 4 emails a day about it. Yeah. But it's like the amount of bullshit about it out there is just wild.
It's just, and even with like eating disorder recovery, like I had so many people be like, so you're just coaching people to be fat and blah, blah, blah. And it's like the ignorance of not even knowing what an eating disorder is or not understanding what it's like to have body image issues or body dysmorphia and how like debilitating it can be for your life, and people just being just so ignorant to it and not actually understanding what it is and just saying dumbass fat phobic shit for no fucking reason.
Also because when you say like I'm in recovery from an eating disorder, it's a very different reaction than like I'm 10 months sober from alcohol.
Oh yeah.
I'm 10 months sober from a people are like, oh my God, oh wow, so noble. Because you can live without alcohol. You don't need drugs to survive. But hey, we need food to survive.
Like you can't just give up food.
Yeah. I posted this dumb joke on Threads. I like to do this thing where if I have a joke that I don't know if it's funny yet, I'll post it on Threads.
Oh, that's smart. I like it.
See if people will do anything. And I wrote, overcoming an eating disorder is like going through anger management, but you still have to punch a baby 3 times a day to survive.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's like, not only are you like going through this journey of your relationship with food, movement, your body, maybe your family, maybe loved ones, people that have said shit to you in the past, but also like you have to face it all the 3 to 5 times a day.
I mean, food is a huge part of people's life. I mean, it's like you need it to survive. So it's like now I have to, like, it's in my face all the time. I'm being triggered all the time.
Yeah. People make entire careers off of food reviews. Yeah. Or even just posting, hey, here are the top 5 restaurants in my city or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think people don't understand how hard eating disorder recovery is. I mean, it's the like second highest mortality rate of any mental illness.
Yeah. That's a wild statistic that a lot of people forget.
They're like, wait, what? You can die from an eating disorder? And people are like, yeah, if you're anorexic. I'm like, you also can from binge eating. And like, and people think that if you have an eating disorder, you're like emaciated and thin, and that's like all it means.
Oh my God. You know what happened the other day?
What?
This guy I can't remember where it was. Some guy told me, you don't look like you have an eating disorder.
Dude, the amount of people that you don't look like you have an eating disorder, you're beautiful. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And it was online. Of course it was online. Yeah. And I respond, and he said it in all sincerity because I think I was saying something about how interesting it is as a comedian to talk about having an eating disorder, and it really sucks all the energy out of a room. And I'm trying to figure out performance wise, like, how can I talk about this and make it funny? And that's a whole other journey. But the guy was like, I'm saying this in all sincerity, but like in all honesty, you don't look like you have an eating disorder. So if people see you say that on stage, they may not believe it. And I had to compose myself. I was on the toilet. I had to compose myself for a second before I responded. And I was like, I totally understand that you're saying this in all honesty. I understand you don't have bad intentions. But please do not ever tell someone with an eating disorder that they don't look like they have one, because that's just going to refuel it.
100%. Or saying like, yeah, it doesn't look like you're depressed. And it's like,
it's invisible.
Yeah, what? It's just... Yeah, and it's like, what does an eating disorder look like to you then? You know, and it's like, I think, again, people think it's this like super thin, really woman, especially like a white woman. Like it's like a very specific community that is only allowed to have eating disorders.
Yeah, it's always like a relatively like thin white woman who... I don't know if you've ever seen, like, there are some movies that are kind of indie movies that are like...
And they always portray, like, it's the same character. I'm like, can we get someone else that looks a little different?
And they do the thing, I was talking to my boyfriend about this because we watched a movie where it's always this fucking scene in every documentary movie that's about eating disorders. They go in the mirror and they're wearing a bra and underwear, and then they take a marker and they circle all their fat, and then they're like screaming.
I've never done that.
And I've never done that. And also I'm like looking at their body and I'm like, you were cast for this role because of your body. I guarantee it's not because you actually like, you know what I mean? Like it
would be really refreshing to see someone actually with a fat, larger body to be in a role that had an eating disorder, because I think that would shock a lot of people. Like, fat people can have eating disorders too.
And that's the majority of people that have eating disorders are people in either larger or like straight size bodies. Like, oh my God, I could go on and on. But I saw online the other day that you are also partnering with Recovery Rack.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I had no idea who they were, and I was really excited when I looked them up. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what Recovery Rack is.
Yeah, so they are associated with Eating Disorder Foundation. Denver is like a huge hub for eating disorder recovery. There's so many recovery centers. And so they work with, or they're a part of Eating Disorder Foundation, and they are at no cost, no size. I think they like take the sizes out of clothing or something like that.
Yes.
And it's a place where you can go and shop and get clothes for free while you're going through recovery, because your body changes and ebbs and flows. So I'm doing a couple events with them, actually. The first event is a virtual event talking about like how can you go about figuring out your own style and navigating like the triggering feelings that can come up when you're going through recovery and your body's changing, but you also want to feel good in your clothes. And then I'm also going to do kind of like a styling event at the Recovery Rack too sometime this fall.
Yeah. Oh my God. I saw that and I immediately was like, oh, I have so many clothes I could donate. I wonder how they take donations.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool. I've never seen anything like that.
No, same.
I always wonder like what the centers and the foundations do for people like that. It's like, do they kind of have any type of like guidance on, because my recovery is very outpatient. Like I see a therapist once a week, I see a nutritionist once a week. I went to a recovery center when I was in high school, and it really didn't stick because I was so rebellious. I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna be thin no matter what. And it was just I was like not absorbing anything at all. Yeah.
And everybody's experience is different. Mine was very similar to yours. I saw a therapist and dietitian weekly. Yeah. So mine was very outpatient.
And not everyone like gets hospitalized and it's this big thing. And they're like secluded to a room for 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Like it's not like
recovery
that.
looks so different across the board. And I think people, when they hear the word like going into recovery, they're like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Are you going into treatment?
Yeah. Are they going to put a feeding tube up your ass?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
No. I want to keep talking a little bit about social media because, as you know, I like to expose all of my DMs all the time because it's honestly, I'm going to be real with you, it's like such easy content.
Oh, no. I love like dragging men online.
Yeah. And it's not even like, I don't even read the really bad ones because I don't want Instagram to ban me. Yeah. But I also just like think the ones that I get are just like silly and funny, and these guys are just kind of like, they don't get that they're being socially weird. Yeah. But I want to know, like, do you get DMs? Do you get weird comments? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saved some that I was like.
let's see. Because did you have comments or do you have DMs more?
I would say lately comments. I've been going like viral on some things, and like I posted this video at my home. Okay, I'm at home and it's really hot in Michigan. It's like humid right now. And it was like a family party that we were having. And literally for like a 10-second video, I put my dress over a fan.
Oh, I know this.
And people were like, your vagina stinks. And I'm like, why is the smell of my vagina?
What?
Like it's at like over 1 million views. Like people are like, this is disgusting. You're so gross. Maybe if you weren't so fat, you wouldn't be sweating. I'm like,
wow.
What? It was insane.
And it's like, for the people who don't know what the video might look like, you're wearing this beautiful like maxi dress.
Yeah, and I look like
it's like a Marilyn Monroe moment, but you're like, it's like makes like a tube of air.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the like car
wacky
salesman.
Inflatable guys. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
No, people thought, they were like, this is so disgusting. You're so gross. And
what?
I was like, okay, well,
meanwhile, like they're walking around, they would do it too.
And I'm like, also, like your vagina's not supposed to smell. So like either you have a stinky vagina or you're encountering a lot of women that like you're setting their pH off, and that says something
and that
about
sounds
you.
like a you problem, my dude. Oh my gosh, that is wild.
Yeah, it's been weird. Okay, so I got this comment. I posted something. I like was doing an eye roll to like the current political climate, and some guy was like,
we love a video like that.
oh yeah, and it was so basic, and people were pissed.
But it's so easy.
They were so pissed.
Easy. Okay.
And this guy was like, proud to be fat but not American. How progressive.
I mean, sometimes I feel like the two of those things are kind of mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I would rather be proud to be in a larger body than an American.
What's there really to be proud of to be an American right now, if I have
Simone
to be honest?
Biles,
like,
and that is it.
Yeah, like
that is
besides
it.
like some dope people in the Olympics. Yeah. Then I got this one from this guy.
Oh wow, he looks like a winner.
That says, "Don't be a stranger. Who are you?" Exclamation point.
What?
And then seen like 20 of these fat trend already today. That's a comment of just me like existing in my bathing suit.
Okay, so then that's like him telling on himself. That's like his algorithm. Like you like women in larger bodies. That's okay. You can admit it. It's not a fat trend.
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah. Women have to remind themselves BS every single day to get by.
Do you ever look at their profile photos?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever just like...
Oh, I did. I shared the other guy, the dude that said like proud to be fat but not American. I shared his photo, and he just looks like a loser. I mean, it's just like people that I'm like, bro, I wouldn't even like take a second look at your dusty ass.
Right,
like,
right. Oh, it is so funny to see the shit that they will say. But I don't know if you've ever done this, if you like ever like clap back, or if you like do the thing where you reply to a comment in like a video and you kind of like roast them lightly.
Oh yeah.
They get so hurt.
I actually got this guy suspended from work last week.
Yes. Oh my God. Tell me.
It was so fucking satisfying. So the guy or whatever was on the like video with the fan or whatever. He said something about like me being fat and disgusting and like my pussy must stink, whatever. Super gross. So I went to his bio. He had his business like tagged in his bio. He's like a co-founder, founder, and he works for like a roofing company. And so I DM'd the roofing company and DM'd a company that he like contracts with. And I was like, hey, I wanted to let you know that like one of your employers is being fat phobic and like harmful online for absolutely no reason. I just thought you should know. This woman like replied back. She was like, I'm so sorry. We're going to have the president of our company like chat with him. She got back to me and was like, we're no longer going to work with their company anymore. And then his company suspended him.
Dude.
And I was like, that was so satisfying.
That is the definition of girl bossing.
Oh, it was so
that is
satisfying.
The definition.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just like, I'm so sick of like the unsolicited, hateful, fat phobic, just nasty like incel comments about women. So I was just like, you know what? Like, I just was like fueled with like female rage that day.
Yeah, it gets to you. Like people don't think that
they're like, let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but I get like sometimes 100 comments a day from like nasty men. Like, yeah, let me just let it go.
Yeah, I always get the you're a comedian, you can't take a joke.
Oh,
where is the joke?
Yeah,
an insult is not a joke. No, you're not a roaster. This isn't roast battle. You're just saying that and getting mad.
And then when you call them out, they get mad. And then when you say something offensive, they're like, wow, what the fuck? Like all pissed. I'm like, fragile male ego.
There was a guy that commented, I can't remember what it was, but it was something about like, I shouldn't be telling sexual jokes if I'm fat or whatever. And I looked at his profile. He has a photo with his daughter. His daughter has an Instagram.
Yep.
I went to her Instagram and I screenshotted what he said and I almost sent it to her and I almost played the game of like, hey, this is how your dad acts online. But I was talked out of it because my boyfriend made a good point. He's like, maybe don't do that because you're like, you don't make this a thing where people are going to start like it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I don't want to do that. Like I still want to succeed in comedy or whatever, but it's really hard for me not to do it.
I've sent screenshots to women before, mostly men that have like said sexual things, and I'm like, oh, how does your girlfriend feel about that? Like, let me just send them a DM and show them like
a quick tag.
Yeah,
I love that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have any other comments that are crazy, or were those kind of like the top ones?
Those were kind of like the main ones. Let's see what else. Oh, this is a longer one. I think it's great to love. And this was a video of me standing in a black dress, literally saying like, you don't have to hide your stomach like in a tight dress. Like that was kind of the basis. And this man goes off, I think it's great to love yourself and to speak good about yourself, but also acknowledging the fact that you need to be healthier, not consume ingredients and products that are detrimental to your long-term health. Thick is good and healthy, but they can healthy is better. Healthy equals perfect. Healthy is not defined by what you look like, but what you eat. Literally nowhere did I talk about what I ate or any, and I'm like, you're just assuming because I'm thick that like I eat fast food every day or like I don't think about what I put into my body.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth and he's just like, I just thought that you should like know that because I was just trying to like give advice. And I was like,
I'm just trying to help you. It's about health actually. I'm trying to help you be healthier.
Like, I don't care, like, no offense, but like I don't look around the room and I'm not like caring about other people's health. Like,
yeah, because
it's
who has
none
the
of my
brain
business.
space for
it's
that?
not my business. And if you are and you're saying that you are, you're actually just fat phobic and you feel uncomfortable seeing their bodies.
Yeah, it's always the grammatical errors in the comments that get me.
And they like because when they spell the wrong your.
Yeah, they're so excited to have their voice heard that they can't even stop to edit a little bit. They're like, oh my god, she has to see this. Yeah, I've had several guests on now that have kind of had this experience where, you know, they have to like defend their body size, or they won't even, not even online, but just talking about it in real life and explain to people like, yeah, being healthy is different for everyone.
Absolutely.
Like if you think about it, there are so many factors that go into the way we look, and a lot of it is depending on our genetics 100%. And like, what did our ancestors survive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you come
trauma,
from
I mean, literally anything can be determine like how your body looks.
Yeah, like if you come from like generations of families that were farmers and they developed really strong muscles in their thighs from farming all the time, you're gonna have strong thigh muscles even if you're not a farmer anymore.
Exactly.
Because their bodies develop to. Yeah, it's crazy to me that people can recognize that people can have different allergies and reactions to medications, but they can't accept that our bodies can look different and still be healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like so frustrating. And, you know, I have to pick and choose my battles online.
For sure.
But like what actually makes me more upset is when sometimes like my followers will be like, don't respond to them. Like, don't give them.
Rise above.
And to me, women have always been told that, like, don't like give them attention, just smile, like be the bigger person. And it's like, no, because this is what a lot of these people expect, is that nothing is going to happen if they don't say this. And I'm the last person to do that. Like, I'm gonna fucking drag you because I just don't give a fuck. And if that makes me look bad because I choose to stick up for myself, then so be it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought, because I've struggled with that a lot online. I don't know if have you always been that way?
No, I mean, and again, I pick and choose. Like, I would literally be on my phone all day.
Okay,
if I was responding to that. But there are certain times, especially if I'm feeling a certain way, that like, I have no problem calling that out, because I also think sometimes people, they're like, oh, it can't be that bad, or like, people don't say that to you. And it's like, no, actually, look what women, and I'm not even in a fat body. Like, I am on a small plus size end. Like, I'm a size 14, 12, 14. Like, so for me to get comments like that on my body, for someone actually existing in a fat, larger body, to invalidate their experiences and say like, it's not that bad, or like, people don't say that shit. Like, hello, let's just look at the evidence here.
Yeah. Here, let me lay it on the table. Yeah. Your Honor, I'd like to have a recess. Can we talk about this, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have struggled a lot with the idea of, do I respond? Do I not respond? And my journey has been interesting because I didn't talk about my body for a while, because I didn't feel like I had the chops as a comedian to make it funny. So a lot of my early jokes were about dating and not wanting kids and just kind of making fun of men. And then I didn't want to fall into that trap of like being a female comedian that shit on men all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, but
you're
go
like
off.
Then pigeonholed into that.
Yeah. But a lot of my early content that started to do well were weirdly jokes shitting on men, but the people that were following were men. So they were seeing it and they were like, actually, I kind of dig this. And they were following me. So it was weird. And then I would get these comments. Like, I'll never forget the first video I ever had go viral. It was in 2021 when TikTok was still kind of like, honestly, the golden age. You know what I mean?
I should have like got on it earlier.
Yeah, no TikTok shop.
Oh, I fucking hate TikTok shop.
Yeah, no bullshit. And I went viral, which at the time, like, I think it was maybe like a few 100,000 views. It wasn't like in the millions like it is now.
No, but that's like, yeah.
But at the time, like, that was really big. And it was a joke about like how dating a guy in his 20s is like raising a misbehaved son, whatever.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? And then all these comments came in about how fat I was and how, it's always the fat chicks that got something to say. I bet her pussy smells. I bet this. And at the time, I had a broken foot. And so I was wearing a boot, like a walking boot, and my foot was legitimately broken. And everyone was saying that I was wearing the boot for attention. They're like, oh no, she's wearing the attention boot, not the attention boot.
That's the thing is like, one, you're a comedian. Like, there's going to be jokes. And I always find it interesting, or like even if I like a man hits on me and I turn him down, it's always like, well, you're fat.
Yeah, you're like, a fucking bitch anyway.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like it's just
where'd the energy go?
Like, I'm trying to insult you, and to be honest, if someone calls me fat, like I'm just like, it doesn't land anymore.
Yeah. Oh, where was I going with that? Okay, I remember what I was going to say. I used to feel like I had to respond to them and defend myself. And then I ran into that problem of like, I would be here all day.
Oh, yeah. You just have to pick and choose.
I couldn't do it anymore. And then I started going back and forth with the idea of like, do I delete? Do I not delete comments? Do I block? Do I not block? Because there's also this really weird... I don't know if it's like a standard or a stigma. I don't know what the right word is, but there's kind of this idea in comedy that like, no matter what you say as a comedian, there are going to be people who don't think you're funny, which is fine. Like, comedy is subjective. And there are going to be people who just think that you don't deserve to do comedy because of who you are, the way you look, blah, blah, blah. So when you go into your comment section and you like defend yourself or you make a big deal about it, it kind of just makes you look a little like sissy, which I hate using that word, but that's a little bit of kind of how the comedy scene sees it. They're like, no, stick by your joke. Don't be a bitch. Fucking who cares? Yeah. If people hate you, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a point where I'm like, well, I no longer want to allow that type of energy on my accounts because I'm talking about much more sensitive things. Yeah. So now I have no problem immediately blocking someone the minute they say something sexual, hateful, anything about like my body, whatever, or just full on like not even engaging with those people. Like, and it's so freeing.
It is. It's so nice. And like, you know, that's gonna, like, I've been in that space too, where I'm like, I'm just going to delete and block or whatever. And like, now when I get negative comment, I don't even like defend myself. I just more so, it's like if a dude's like, you're so fat. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. Like, oh no. Another man.
Oh my God, you caught me. You caught me. I didn't know.
Like, oh my God. You know, like just kind of those responses. But yeah, I mean, otherwise you're just going to fucking drain yourself in those situations if you like try to respond to every single one or defend. And the reality is defending yourself isn't going to change their opinion.
No, and I already have too much mental space taking up like, how do I heal my trauma with my mom? Like I can't focus on fucking random dudes on the internet. Your handle on Instagram and I believe most social media websites is Fit, Fat, and All That.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Yeah. So, God, my aunt and my Aunt Marisa, love her. She's so creative. We were like sitting and talking. This is when I like started my blog in my early days and was just kind of, I never had the intention of like being this Instagram like content creator influencer, but I was like kind of want like a catchy name. Yeah. And we just came up with it together. And for me, like growing up, I was always called fat. I was like bullied for my body and all of these things. And I was like, fat is just a word, like just skinny. And like, it's literally just a word. And so I was like, let me take like my power back and actually use it in my name because like I said, now like being called fat just like doesn't hit.
It's just a descriptor.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, okay. And so yeah, I just really wanted to like take my power back. And honestly, it's like been so great. I feel like it's so catchy.
It's so nice because I feel like getting a an original username on Instagram now is so difficult.
Oh yeah.
Like I was surprised that Morgan Gallo comedy wasn't taken.
Yeah.
I'm like, there has to be another Morgan.
100%.
Like, which is stupid, but like, yeah, like fit, fat, and all that is so fun. And what's funny is when I've talked about you to other people, like when I went to that all-female event sponsored by What She Said, which is an amazing company in Denver. They were like, oh yeah, we had a bunch of people on the panel last week. Like we had Julia, fit, fat, and all that, if you don't know her. And like they use that to describe, and I'm like, that's so perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That's so fun. That'll be like the name of the episode. Yeah. That's what we'll do.
I love it.
I also want to know, what is something that you are currently working on? Like you have your business, you're 10 years into recovery. What's kind of like your mental health focus as of right now?
Like personally?
Yeah.
The last 2 years have honestly, is it 2024? Yeah, it's 2024. Yeah. I'm like,
I know. I don't fucking, it's like pandemic after pandemic.
I know. Well, 2 years ago, I called off my engagement, and that was really, really, really traumatic. Yeah. And I feel like I'm now like just kind of like getting back to myself, and like going through all the grief and just kind of everything that associated with that. And right now I'm just like focusing on taking care of myself, like in the simplest of ways. I just got on medication for depression. So
we love it.
Yay.
We love it. A good SSRI cocktail. I know those well.
Yeah. No. So honestly, just like doing things that bring me joy. And it's like so simple, like going for walks in the park, like spending time with my friends, like simple. Like I want my life to be simple and joyful, and I like to travel and all those things. So honestly, just like having a nice chill rest of summer and fall, and I have like no big plans or anything like that. But
that's great.
Yeah, just
that's
like
awesome.
Relaxing. I am like not a hustler at all.
Really?
No,
I feel like you are though.
No, I'm like,
you put it out there though.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I spent so much of my life feeling like I needed to be productive to be like
valuable.
Yeah. And I just like, I really hate that. And I think a lot of like my eating disorder was like linked to that, and just feeling like I had to like be thin and be productive and successful for like people to love me. And I fuck capitalism and fuck hustle culture.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I'm going to rebel and like take a nap at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
But like, I never work on the weekends. I'm like done with work at like 4 p.m.
Nice.
Like I try not to overschedule myself. I don't want to burn myself out.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a like rebellious thing now.
Oh,
to
yeah.
put yourself first, which is that's such an
people
American
are like,
thing.
For you to be successful, you have to wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
You have to be like going to networking events, and you have to like be like just shitting out your resume everywhere. Yeah, it's the only ones I've enjoyed have been these like all female ones, because they don't even really feel
it's just like a girl hangout.
Yeah, they don't feel like this like come meet women in like business and have your business cards ready. No, it's like, we're gonna make charm bracelets.
Yeah.
We're gonna like do some fun headshots.
Yeah. There's
like
we're gonna be like mocktails and
yeah. We're gonna have a tarot card reader.
No, like
I'm like, let's compare our birth charts. Like that's
Oh, and
so
by the way,
cool.
here, I loved like hanging out with you.
Yes,
Here's my business card. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so amazing. Do you feel like through this journey of, I mean, obviously going through recovery and then having your own businesses, have there been a lot of ups and downs? Have there been a lot of moments where you're like, what the heck am I doing?
Oh, for sure. The only time I think during recovery, I mean, not the only time, recovery like ebbs and flows for sure. But I was very like committed. I mean, there were times where I was like, I want to go back to like being skinny.
Yeah.
But the only time in the last, I would say like 5 years that I was a little concerned about my recovery was after I called off my engagement. And I wasn't even purposely trying not to eat. It was just, I was so depressed and filled with so much grief that I found myself struggling with my relationship with food. So that was the only time that like I felt that there was like, ooh, this is a little worrisome. But with business, oh God.
Yeah.
Lots of ebbs and flows. Like I was talking to a friend and I was just like, I fail more than I succeed. And I think that's just like, I have to become comfortable with failing. there's been so many launches where I'm like, I'm launching a new course and like one sells. And I'm okay, pivot. Like,
and failing upwards.
100%. Like 90% of owning a business is like failing and just being like, okay, well, this didn't work. Let me do that. And yeah, I mean, I've gone through seasons where I've been super fucking successful where I'm like, I'm loaded. And then I'm like, okay, need to budget, you know? And that's just something that I have to be okay with. But yeah, that's just life.
It's a very tricky mindset to maintain as like I guess entrepreneur is, I hate that word because I feel when I think of entrepreneur, I think of like a white man in a suit who like wants to take you out for a beer, but talk about money the whole time. And he like knows the stocks, you know what I mean? Like I hate that. But being someone that is a business owner, someone that is self-employed,
solopreneur.
Solopreneur. It's so tricky, and unfortunately we don't live in a country that really supports that. Like they tax you more because you're self-employed, which I didn't learn that till last year, and I was like, well,
I have a great CPA if you need one.
I have one, and that's why I had to get one because I was like why the fuck they're I have to pay more money.
You can't use TurboTax when you own your own business.
No. I'm like writing off everything. I'm like, I bought sticky notes yesterday. That's for my business. You know what I mean?
And having like me getting a good financial advisor, best decision I've ever made.
You gotta do it. You have to trust the experts. To do.
I don't know shit about money. Like,
no. Yeah. And that's why people should trust you as a stylist. As an expert. As a size inclusive expert.
Hire me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I do want to land this plane. So we have an affirmation board, and I have everyone sign it with their favorite affirmation, and then whatever color you decide to choose. So we've had comedians sign this, we've had dance studio owners sign this. Anissa and I have both signed it, and one day I'm really hoping it'll just be full of love and positivity.
Terrible handwriting. Okay.
No, it'll be great. It'll be perfect. But affirmations have always been something that I've struggled with. I feel like I say that on every episode, but it's so true because people tell you, say stuff in the mirror, say something to yourself, look at your body and love yourself. And it's like, how do you believe the words coming out of your mouth if you don't genuinely feel that way about yourself? So I'm very interested to see what you have. You have great handwriting. What are you talking about?
I tried.
It looks beautiful.
Okay, so this is a really basic saying. However,
go ahead and move your mic back to you so the people can hear you.
This is a really basic saying, but I grew up with my grandma saying this all the time. And as someone with anxiety that plays like worst case scenario all the time, she would always say like things have a way of working out. And that's just been something that has always stuck with me. Like no matter where I'm at with like my engagement ending or recovery, like things have a way of working out. They always have, maybe not in the way that I've imagined, but they always work out. And I'm always like pleased with the results, and like my life has been pretty fucking great. So
that's awesome. Oh, I love that. Things have a way of working out always. Juju. Well, I already said your handle, but where else can the people find you?
On Instagram. My website is Fit, Fat, and All That. On TikTok, oh my God, I can't say TikTok. On TikTok, I'm That Good Juju.
Ooh, we love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope this is the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship.
Yes, same.
And
this is awesome.
Thank you for just sharing your wisdom. I love having people on that are from such different industries, and you're kind of the first like beauty content, size inclusive stylist type of person that I've had on. And so I'm really excited to see where everything goes for you. And as a reminder to the people watching, stay fit, stay fat, stay all that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Yay. Oh, I love that. That was awesome.
Thank you so much for listening to My Body, My Jokes. Please be advised that the information provided in this podcast is for general discussion purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always, always, always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare professional with any concerns you might have regarding the topics discussed in today's episode. Also, if you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder, please call the National Eating Disorders Association helpline at 1-800-931-2237. Bye.